It's a celebrity-filled, action-packed Isiah Factor Uncensored tonight with Houston Texans number 76, offensive tackle DUANE Brown. But the football powerhouse is not alone. His famous wife and 93.7 The Beat on-air personality Debbie Brown, a.k.a. Debbie Dev, is here with them as our celebrity couple of the week.
I'll give you everything.
They've been around since 1987, topping the charts. None other than super singing group After 7. They're on the Factor Uncensored tonight to talk about the entertainment business and why they're all in Houston. And finally, the attempt to buy a ham sandwich and chips has landed a 15-year-old Fort Bend County student in the juvenile justice system. Is it a weak criminal case against a kid? We'll have that and more coming up on the Factor Uncensored tonight.
He doesn't take BS from anybody, and he's always looking out for you. He's Isiah, and this is the Factor Uncensored.
And welcome to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We're here live at the Union Kitchen in Bel Air, and what's on everyone's mind tonight is the weather out there. So we're going to pitch it straight to John Dawson, who's live in the newsroom. So John, do we need an arc? 30 days, 40 nights? What can we expect, John?
I tell you what, Isiah, we are going to be ready as we move through the overnight hours, that is for sure. We have sort of missed the first round. It seemed to have dodged Houston, and I don't think anyone's really complaining about that. Your early evening plans can be a go once again if you put things on hold, as we look like we're going to be able to make it through the early evening without any problems. It's the early morning that we're going to be concerned with now as the next round, the next wave of storms begins to move in. We do have just a little blip on the Fox Red Storm Seeker radar, searching out and finding just a little bitty isolated heavy downpour heading right along the coast there in Missouri County, moving in right now to Galveston County, about to hit Texas City. That's really the only thing in the Houston metro area, but we're watching out to our west now. We're watching actually all around us the storms are hitting, but it's out to the west where these storms over in San Antonio should continue to march during the overnight hours and eventually getting here early morning about sunrise. That's when we begin to have some problems. I hope you've already downloaded our weather app. It's free. It's out your download store. It'll give you the power of the Fox Red Storm Seeker radar to take with you wherever you are this weekend. Plus, those storm alerts will go right to your phone, so you'll be ready whatever might be coming this direction. I'm going to show you this computer model. This is going to give us an idea of what happens, some possibility of some showers during the overnight hours. And then I told you about that line of storms coming in from the west. They're going to slow down a little bit, 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. That's when they make it to the metro area. That's when we want to make sure that you're ready for that stronger line of storms later on in the evening or in the very early morning hours. So we still find ourselves under a flash flood watch from the National Weather Service. That's all the way until Sunday morning, because we could also have some more rain Saturday afternoon. Later on in the show, I'll be sure to update you on all the possible scenarios for this weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Appreciate that weather update, and we'll be checking in with you throughout the show. Now, Angela Chen, Hot Topics with AC. What can we prepare for when we have weather like this, other than in Houston, kiss your ass goodbye?
No, you don't have to do that if you're prepared. So, of course, Hot Topic. First topic, very cold, very wet. We're talking about storm preps, okay?
Right.
And if the city of Houston is taking it seriously, you've got to take it seriously, you've got to take it seriously, I'm taking it seriously. They're putting barricades in 38 locations all over town. They've got those high water vehicles, boats ready to go just in case. I mean, they don't want a repeat of the last flooding.
I mean, we just went through it last week.
It's
so
fresh,
we
it's
need
in everybody's
to
mind.
be prepared for this.
Exactly, and that means you. I mean, we know better by now. Do not drive into high water, people, okay? I'm putting on my stern teacher face. Do not drive into high water. Isiah, you tell him.
Do not drive into high water. You have been warned.
You have been warned. That
over and over again.
Those were the causes of the 8 deaths that we heard from that flooding event. So again, guys, you know the rules. Do not play with your lives. Do not play out there. Mother Nature is serious. We're talking about storm preps. You guys just stay indoors if you can. Be safe. All right?
Now, there was a horrendous situation related to the flooding a week ago.
Right.
And it's heart-wrenching for a grandmother who apparently went to check on her grandchild's gravesite.
Yes, oh, okay, we're gonna show you the pictures, and it's awful to look at, but these are the pictures the grandmother sent us. I mean, this is the baby's grave, and you can see it's very shallow. Because of the flooding, they think that the dirt has eroded, and of course you can see the coffin itself is very shallow. That's not 6 feet to me. Oh,
yeah, and I put in a call to the funeral home and the individuals who own that particular cemetery, and I asked them, was it buried 6 feet deep? Because it just doesn't look like it's 6 feet deep. And he said he would get back to me. We have not heard from him as of yet, but that grandmother, she cursed up a storm. She said, I am not leaving this spot until you put dirt over my grandchild's casket. And as you can see, they actually went out there and did it that same day. Initially, they told her they could not do it until next week. And she's like, hell no. You need to do it today.
You gotta respect that. You have to respect the people trying to honor their loved ones.
Oh, absolutely.
But not only that, you know, if they're just putting dirt on top of that, that's not fixing anything. It's still shallow.
Yeah.
If it floods again, it's just the dirt's gonna go away again.
Well,
so.
we're waiting on him to tell us the actual depth. So hopefully he can come back and tell us how deep it is, because under law it's required to be 6 feet.
At least 6 feet, right? Well, we'll check on that. So you can check at our newscast next week. Hopefully we can follow up on that. Okay, our last story, there's been a rash of break-ins at the Arium Park West apartments, all right? Take a look at some of the pictures these guys sent in. Now, we're talking about smashed windows, missing rims, a lot of different things going on there, and these people feel helpless. They feel victimized.
And they're pissed.
They're pissed off because the management, I mean, you should feel safe when you live at an apartment complex, right?
Yes. Now, one of the things the apartment complex actually said was they were going to make a whole lot of improvements, like they have bids out for lights, surveillance cameras. There's going to only be one entrance into the facility, and they're going to request that HPD provide more patrols. Right. But the residents say we want 24-hour security. That's it, bottom line.
You know, for what they're paying, right? They told you they were paying about $1,000 and up. You should feel safe. I don't care where you live. I mean, I live by myself.
Now, if you're paying $200 a month, that's on you.
Okay, that's where we differ on our opinion. Because, you know, I lived by myself most of my adult life as a single woman. You know, you want to feel safe. I don't care how much you pay. Your management should make you feel safe. I'm giving you money. There's that expectation of safety.
Absolutely.
Just saying. Anyway, those are our top 3 hot topics for today.
All right. Thanks a lot, Angela Chen. And we will continue on with the Isiah Factor in just a moment. That crazy story coming out of Fort Bend County and a student who found himself in the juvenile justice system. Stay with us. And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. And we're talking about a case out of Fort Bend County ISD. And we're here with Lewis Hunter, his son ALEC Hunter. And we're going to give you a quick roundup of what he and his son are facing in Fort Bend ISD. Take a look. 15-year-old ALEC Hunter is now in the juvenile justice system. That's after campus police at Elkins High School said the 10th grader passed a fake $10 bill for his lunch, a ham sandwich and chips. His father, Lewis Hunter, is not happy, saying his son, who's an excellent student, would never break the law. Lewis says ALEC and a friend found the fake money in the cafeteria while going to lunch, and they both thought they'd hit pay dirt. But the campus cop at Elkins wrote it up as forgery, and a 15-year-old with no behavioral problems or criminal history is now in the juvenile justice system facing delinquency conduct. They're headed to court Monday. Now, both are joining us now live. First of all, Lewis, when you realized that your son had been placed into the juvenile justice system for finding a fake $10 bill at school, what did you think about that?
I thought it was ridiculous. It was something that I thought would be handled, could have been handled at the school level. ALEC was forthcoming, letting me know exactly what had happened, and we didn't hear anything for months until we got a letter from the Fort Bend Juvenile Court saying that they wanted them to come in for some crisis intervention program for at-risk youth. They indicated that they wanted to do an intake, fingerprint, booking, handcuffing, and actually go into a cell.
When you heard that, ALEC, that they wanted to do that to you as a student, 15 years old, what was your response to that?
Like, it was pretty unnecessary. I didn't see why they have to take so many precautions just for
something that I wouldn't even consider really a mistake, but just like a normal thing anyone would do if they found $10 on the ground.
Obviously, the viewers want to know, did you find that $10 bill or did you make it? What's your role in that?
I found the $10 bill in the morning when we wait for the first period bell to ring. Turned around and I found the $10 bill on the ground and picked it up.
Now, were you alone? Is there anyone who corroborate that story for you?
Yes, I was surrounded by like 3 of my closest friends.
When you realized what your son was facing, being placed into the juvenile justice system and never having any kind of background in crime, being a good student, what was that like as a parent to know now you have to go out and hire an attorney to prove that he's innocent?
You know, in my view, it's irresponsible. You know, it's an irresponsible waste of taxpayers' money to expend so many resources on something that could have been handled at a school level. Is to me, it's wasteful. It's criminal in itself. You know, to me, that's the most criminal thing. You know, it's hard for me to look at my son and tell him that he made a mistake when he did something that was just so casual, so normal. You know, if you find a $10 bill, I'll pick it up. You know, it's normal. The fact that they've taken it as far, and not only have they taken it as far as taking it to juvenile, but they've also turned down these crisis intervention first-time offender programs.
And he is a first-time offender, at least would be.
He is an AB student. The only thing he's done from pre-K to 10th grade is lose his student ID card.
All right.
And that's on the record.
Thanks a lot, Louis. And of course, we want to tell our viewers out there that we had a chance to speak with the district attorney, John Healy, and he says they're open for new information, new evidence, and they say he says this is not a done deal yet. So you guys are hopeful that something will change and you won't have to spend thousands of dollars to defend your son. Well, that's it we want to thank you guys for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored, and we'll be back with more Isiah Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Stick around for After 7. And welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Of course, here in Houston, we know all about weather. And because of weather, the 2 other members of After 7 are not here, but you are here, Kevon Edmonds. We want to thank you for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you guys are here performing in Houston. Tell us a little bit about your performance and where we can see you and we can expect to see you.
Okay, well, we will be performing at the arena tomorrow evening. Showtime is, I think, about 7:30, 8 o'clock. We'll be opening up for Jeffrey Osborne, formerly of LTD, of course, but we're looking forward to it. You know, performing in the arena, in the round, as we say, is always a nice, intimate setting, and it allows us to really kind of connect with our fans in a real good way. No bad seat in the house, in other words.
Good, because you're constantly rotating, and everyone gets a front seat.
Absolutely.
Now, is this just part of a tour or a one-stop situation for you guys?
Right now, it's a one-stop situation. We've been spending a lot of our time out in L.A. working with my brother Face. We've been working on another project, another album, which I think it's due to be released September of 2016 this year.
Now, you guys have created some great music, the soundtrack of some people's lives.
We hope so.
So what are you working on now as far as the music that you and your brother Babyface are working on?
Well, you know, we hope to continue to do what we have done in the past, and that is connect to our fan base, telling a story about love and life and relationships. You know, there's always somebody who's going through something, and hopefully we tell it in a way that it allows them to relate to it. So we're anxious about it. We're excited to come back from a 20-year layoff and to get back into the studio. I will say that the album that we're creating will be entitled Timeless, After 7, Timeless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do you endure so long? You guys started the group in 1987, and of course we know all of your hits. How do you continue on so long without getting tired and without losing your fan base?
Well, you get tired. That's part of it. But, you know, I think it boils down to really having a love for what you do. There are a lot of different things we could be doing. We're blessed to be doing something that we love. And I think that's what really carries you through, and the fact that, you know, because as you said earlier, you know, perhaps we are part of the soundtrack of people's lives, and those fans continue to come out and support you. And they're there for us, and we always want to be there for them.
Do you think that the R&B fan base is where it needs to be with supporting you guys? A lot of times you hear rock fans support consistently, nonstop. R&B fans are off and on.
Right. What I will say is R&B music has never stopped. I think people have maybe not necessarily paid as much attention to it because there are a lot of other different genres of music that have kind of infiltrated. But I think a real true R&B fan lover will always come out and support.
Now, in the last 30 seconds we have, also I want to get where, once again, the concert is being held, but what's the state of R&B music now?
It's on a comeback. I really do think there's a lot of the talent that was out at the time that we were out in the early 90s. A lot of those folks are coming back, revisiting and retooling, if you will, and creating some really great music once again. You know, there are a lot of people back out here doing it again.
Once again, you guys are performing in Houston. Tell us the details before you go.
Okay, we'll be performing at the arena in the round right here in H-Town, by the way. I love this city. We always love coming back. So we look forward to everyone coming out.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kevon Edmonds from After 7. They will be performing here in Houston. And we want to remind you, we're keeping an eye on the weather in the city of Houston. John Dawson will be back in just a moment. Also, we're talking to Debbie Brown and DUANE Brown coming up on the Isiah Factor Uncensored, so make sure you stay with us. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We're here live at the Union Kitchen. Now it's time to check on weather with John Dawson. John, how's it looking out there for us so far?
Well, Isiah, things have really looking good so far across the Houston area. We knew the potential was there to have severe weather as early as this afternoon. We did not see that across Houston. And as we move into the early evening hours, it looks like we're going to be able to hold off from all that severe weather potential that was there. And it looks like tomorrow morning, though, will be our first chance again for a round of some severe thunderstorms. Right now, it's pretty pleasant across the Houston area, as a matter of fact. Upper 70s is what the thermometers read. I do want to point out that we still have a flash flood watch under effect. It's through tonight all the way through Sunday morning. Still the possibility of some 2 to 4 inches of widespread rain. Isolated areas could see more than that, and we can't rule out the possibility of the other sort of springtime dangers that are also out there with the slight chance of some tornadoes popping up, hail, damaging winds. All that's still a potential for tomorrow morning's round of storms that we do expect to be rolling in as early as 4 a.m., probably closer to 6 a.m. Hopefully by 10 a.m. we can sort of relax a little bit more. But we do have the flash flood watch from the National Weather Service. They added a few more counties, so pretty much all of our viewing area, and that is going to go until Sunday morning, because even Saturday afternoon we could begin to see some more heavy downpours. Lots of wind out there, very breezy conditions, a lot of humidity still coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. That's spreading out into the state of Texas as well. That's keeping the humidity levels quite high. All these clouds that you see down here in the far portions of the Gulf of Mexico, that's some very rich tropical moisture, and that air is still being pulled up into Houston, and the potential is still there to see some very heavy downpours, some strong storms. You can see these storms sort of building out to our west. They'll continue to move this direction in the overnight hours. As we take a look at the futurecast and where we expect this to go, a weak cold front will be continuing to move through. Eventually, it's going to stall out, maybe get a little bit of movement to it. That's going to be a key factor in tomorrow afternoon's weather, depending on how much movement that front has to it. If it stalls out too early, we could be on some very wet side of things. If it gets a little more strength and pushes through, well, we'll have a fairly pleasant afternoon tomorrow. We do expect the possibility of more rain, though, perhaps as we move into Sunday's forecast. We're just not going to drop rain chances completely for a while across Houston. Temperatures around 82 tomorrow afternoon. We'll be watching to see exactly how those storms rebuild and recharge, but we do expect tomorrow morning to see those rain chances again with the 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. storm line kind of moving into the Houston area. If you're up early, I would make sure and check things out. Of course, you can flip on the TV. We've got our morning news. Meteorologist Lisa Vaughn will be here. You can also check out, of course, our weather app as well as fox26houston.com. We'll keep you updated as necessary as we keep through the weekend with the potential of some severe weather.
All right, thanks a lot, JD. Appreciate that update for us. Now, joining us, our celebrity couple of the week. Sounds like a coupon, right? We have DUANE Brown from the Houston Texans and Debbie Brown from 93.7 The Beat. You guys have replaced Queenie and Bumby in my favorites list.
Oh, that set the bar really high.
Want to thank you guys for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored. DUANE, we have seen the draft just yesterday. You were drafted in 2008. What do you think about the draft choices around the country and right here in Houston?
A lot of great talent come out of the draft this year. I think we got a couple great picks in the first 2 rounds with Will Fuller and Nick Martin, both out of Notre Dame. I think they really can step in and help us immediately, so I'm looking forward to working with them.
All right, offensive help for you, huh?
Offensive help, my kind of help.
Exactly. Now, you guys are a married couple.
Yes.
You're on 93.7 The Beat. You're with the Houston Texans. Now, you guys are very involved with charities around the community. Tell me, why is it important that you guys give back, Debbie?
I think we're both big believers in being of service to people, and I think that no matter what your job title is or what your income level is, we all have something to give, something to teach, and something to learn. So for us, it's just a part of being grateful, especially grateful to the city that has done so much for each of us.
What are some of the issues, DUANE, that you guys are totally focused on and that you help out in the community and around the country?
One of the biggest issues that I'm very passionate about is diabetes. I'm working with the American Diabetes Association. It's a big issue with the African American community and also down in Texas. It's 30 million people in America was diagnosed with diabetes, and 10% of that is here in Texas. So, just trying to raise more awareness for that and also helping try to find a cure for it someday. It's a big priority of mine.
Debbie, how important is it to put your name behind important causes in the community that will bring attention to it? Obviously, you have your medium, the radio, and of course, your husband is known all around the country. How important is it to put your name behind that particular issue that you're interested in?
I think it's so important. Nowadays, especially, we're all so oversaturated. We're scrolling all the time. We're inundated with information. So much stuff gets lost in the fray, and it's really important when stuff matters to you. You bring attention to it, whether it's through posting about it on, your Instagram, or I have a community show on 93.7 every Sunday. I'm talking to somebody about something they're doing or ways to help.
We have seen a transition with you from Debbie Deb on the radio to Debbie Brown. Tell us, why did you make that decision?
I've been doing radio a long time. This is going on my 13th year, and I started with that name, Debbie Deb, when I was working a lot in underground hip hop. It's just a name I got really in college as a fun nickname, and now it's just about the evolution. It's about the growth. I think Debbie Brown is a better representation, kind of a little more classed up, sophisticated, just someone that's doing more on multiple platforms.
Now, both of you guys are famous in your own right. You're here in Houston, you're around the country. How do you maintain it and also keep a successful marriage at the same time?
Well, I think, we support each other to the fullest, 100%. I think we both are each other's biggest cheerleader, really passionate about each other, and we never lose sight of the big picture, which is our union. We put that first and foremost, and, just push each other forward to make each other better every day.
Yeah, and I think we're both really big fans of each other, and that helps. We get to really support each other in the good and bad times with our careers, with our lives, and we really enjoy what the other person does and have a lot of respect for the things that we bring to the table.
So never there's a time, look, I don't want to hear about any football today. Do you have
Well,
no
sometimes.
job talk at the house any particular day at all, where you just focus on each other, family, and not the job?
I think we kind of can do both seamlessly, throughout the day, because we're both constantly giving each other ideas and inspiration for each other's fields, even though they're so different. So not necessarily. The only thing that I kind of don't want to talk about is like Madden or
No games,
any video games. I'm like, come on.
Now, as far as you, DUANE, how important is it that you stay grounded also in the community, where you can focus on the issues, you can focus on the family, and you don't end up with a big head?
It's extremely important. I think for me, it just started with humble beginnings. I know where I came from. I didn't come from a whole lot. I know how hard it was for me to get to where I am. And I know how, easy it is to be, just a couple circumstances could put you in where I was before. So I'm very passionate about the community, whether it's underprivileged youth or troubled youth or, like I said, diabetes. I'm very passionate in different areas of how I can help. do whatever I can with this platform that I've been blessed with.
All right. Debbie Deb, Dwayne Brown, I want to thank you guys for coming on the Isiah Factor. I'm jealous of the number of Twitter and Instagram followers you guys have. You know, all 100,000, 160,000 together.
Yeah, maybe a little higher.
And I'm like, oh, well, all right. We'll be back with more Isiah Factor Uncensored after this, and we want to thank Debbie Brown and Dwayne Brown for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Stay with us. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We're here live at the Union Kitchen, and joining us now to talk politics, Kathleen McKinley and Carmen Rowe. Welcome, guys, to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. Now, first up on the table, Uber. They sent essentially a threatening letter to the city of Houston. Do it our way or we hit the highway. So, Carmen Rowe, legal attorney here in Houston, also Democrat. What do you think about that?
You know, I think that public safety is the #1 concern that Sylvester talked about, but DWIs are a real concern. Since we lead the nation, Uber's a solution that we have at our fingertips. And let's be clear, we have cab drivers all over the city of Houston that don't go through these kinds of background checks. So why are we being so aggressive with Uber? And I think the answer is about money, much more than it is about public safety. They have deep pockets to pay a lot of money for this rubber tape that they're trying to put around Uber. But I don't think it has anything to do with public safety. And let's keep in mind, too, that fingerprints is something that's above and beyond what most criminal background checks look like. Unless you're doing classified materials, you're not doing a fingerprint background check. You're just doing a standard criminal background check, which is what they do in every single Uber car now, including cabs.
Kathleen, are we being too tough on Uber?
Yes, I think we're being too tough on Uber. If you're not requiring it of cabs, and New York City is the only other city, I think, in the country that requires this. So, you know, I'm a big Uber fan. I think, you know, free market, let them come to our city and don't restrict them.
Now, we have heard about some incidents around the country involving Uber drivers, some very tragic incidents.
Right.
So that's not reason for us here and city leaders to take pause and say, look, we need to continue doing these intense background checks on your drivers.
Well, there's been those kind of things happening with cab drivers as well, and they don't have to do the fingerprinting, right?
Right. It needs to be across the board. And look, if we're going to raise the bar, which we should, to ensure public safety here in Houston, let's get the mayor and some of these people to come help fund that project so that we can make it palatable for businesses to come here and do business in Houston.
Kathleen, next up on the list, BOEHNER. You know what he said about Ted Cruz, right?
Yes.
What did he say? I want you. He's a miserable son of a bitch
to work with, and that he was Lucifer. Yes.
Now, what did I say on my first day?
You did, but you and
everyone
Boehner,
agrees. Even Republicans agree.
Establishment Republicans, okay?
Oh, okay?
No, Cruz has said that he has never worked with Boehner. You know, he was in the Senate and Boehner was in the House. He said, I've met him 3 or 4 times. I've said maybe 50 words to him. This isn't about
you don't have to just spend an evening with somebody to know that they're an ass.
Well,
you know, I mean, you can just tell in their actions, their behavior, the things that they do.
But this is about the good old boy establishment in the Republican Party that Ted Cruz came in like a wrecking ball in the Senate, and he doesn't like him. It isn't a personal thing with Boehner because they obviously don't know each other very well. It's that whole establishment. You know, I mean, they can't stand him. The only reason Cruz is doing as well as he can is I think they're hating Trump a bit more.
Now, Carmen, is he Lucifer?
You know, I don't know if he's Lucifer, but I think he's made a reputation for being an ass.
Give me your feelings, Carmen.
I think he loves it. I think he loves the press that goes with it, and I think he's proud of that. So no, I don't think it's a problem. Is it surprising that somebody's calling Cruz out as not being able to get along with others? No. He can't even get along with people in his own party. So.
And all of us who are in the Tea Party are anti-establishment. We love it. It's an endorsement when someone like Boehner says they don't like him.
Okay, Cruz, I think, a desperate attempt to win California. Carly Fiorina. What do you think, Kathleen?
You know, I think that's insulting to her. I mean, we're talking about a woman.
But actually, they don't like her there because she laid off so many people at HP.
in California?
Yeah.
Because she's a Republican, not because she's bad. I mean,
Lost by 1 million votes.
Oh, it was Barbara Boxer. I mean, come on, okay? But, I mean, this is a woman who has a degree from Stanford, a bachelor's in business, a bachelor's of science from MIT.
And now a deal with the devil.
And went... I mean, she's a brilliant woman, and she was on point in every debate. I think it's just insulting to say it's just because she's a woman that, you know... Now, is it calculated? Sure, but that's politics. But I adore her. She's my spirit animal.
All
so
right. Out of
I love
time.
it.
Sorry, Carmen.
No
Maybe
worries.
next time. All right.
Sure.
I want to thank you guys, Kathleen McKinley, Carmen Rowe, for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We'll be back with more of The Factor in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Isiah Factor Uncensored. We're here live at the Union Kitchen in Bel Air. Now it's time to check sports with Mark Berman. Mark, you were here with us last week. What happened this week?
I'm trying to cover about 12,000 things. You understand that, right? And while
I understand, Mark.
And while you're uncensored, I'm censored. The Texans land center Nick Martin from Notre Dame in the second round with the 50th overall pick. The Texans had been at number 52 but moved up 2 spots in a trade with the Falcons to get Martin. The two teams swapped second-round picks, and Houston gave Atlanta a 6th-round pick in this year's draft to get it done. Martin, who also played guard at Notre Dame, is the younger brother of Dallas guard Zach Martin. With their third pick, the Texans take receiver Braxton Miller from Ohio State. The Texans officially unveiled their number 1 pick today in receiver Will Fuller from Notre Dame. A great moment for Will because he's been able to share the moment with his parents, Margaret and Bill.
That was probably the best moment of my life, once I got that phone call and, found my parents and, hugged them. So it was the greatest moment of my life.
And a great moment for Oklahoma State defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah from Fort Bend Bush High School. With family and friends at his home outside Houston, Ogbah celebrates when he's taken by the Cleveland Browns with the first pick in the second round, 32nd overall.
I had no clue Cleveland. I thought Dallas was going to come and play, but Cleveland wanted me bad enough, so I'm glad I'm with the Cleveland Browns. I felt a little disappointed yesterday. I wasn't picked in the first round, but I'm glad Cleveland Browns gave me a chance.
Rockets general manager DARYL Morey met with the media today, said interim coach J.B. Bickerstaff will be considered as the team searches for a new head coach on a permanent basis, and that there is no decision on Dwight Howard concerning his future.
We know we're going to turn this around. We know we're going to pick a great coach. Mr. Alexander's history on picking great coaches is pretty unparalleled. All of them have stayed 4 years. All of them have won a huge percentage of their games. We're gonna get the coach search right. We're gonna get someone in here who's gonna help turn this around. This was a year when this is on me. A lot of the guys we brought in didn't work out. That's on me. We're gonna do better.
That'll do it in sports. Time to go back to Isiah Carey, or I should say the uncensored Isiah Carey.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark. Can we get a commitment for next week at least? I guess not. We'll be back with more Isiah Factor Uncensored with some crazy stories coming your way with Lauren Kelly and DK from Mix 96.5. Stay with us. We'll be back. Time for fun and games. Lauren Kelly and DK from Mix 96.5 joining us now. How have you been?
Hey.
You guys played hooky last week.
No.
You know it's my fault. My apologies. My apologies.
It's all right. It's all right. Well, since we missed talking about Prince, let's start with Prince.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he never had a will. So he is now putting the will, his family's putting the will in the trusted bank that he used for a very long time, and his sister will be taking care of that.
Okay.
But in other news that just developed today, the police are being investigated, the Walgreens near his home that gave him the prescription for the Percocet that they think was the main factor in this case. So the police have gone into the drugstore, they're tracing the paper trail, they're trying to go back and actually figure out the last 4 times Prince was there, what he actually was getting when he left the pharmacy. So they're hoping that this paper trail will unravel the clues to determine the death, what
It's
the
almost
cause
like
of death
Michael
was.
Jackson. When he died, they
Yes.
turned to his doctor. So it's always about the medication,
Who did it?
the drugs, who's responsible.
Exactly.
The photos of him going into the pharmacy, he just
Yeah.
looked frail. It was
Yeah.
kind of an unfortunate, but hopefully they get it all figured out and cleared up.
Right.
Next, we're going to talk about Laramie Tunsil. I don't know if you guys have heard about this yet. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock, but the NFL draft started yesterday. He was slated to potentially go second, most likely sixth. Right before the draft started, a video was released on his Twitter account of him smoking weed with a gas mask on.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's pretty incriminating when you see this and you're like, maybe it's not him, maybe it's not him. And then he takes off the mask and you're like, oh my gosh, that's him. So this is released and all of the owners and people that were potentially going to draft him see this and think, all right, what's this kid doing? Is this someone we really want on our team? We don't know what he's up to. On top of that, his Instagram was hacked at the same time and pictures of a conversation with him and a coach at Ole Miss were released where money was exchanged. So he ends up dropping to 13th in the draft, which in turn loses him around $8 million, hypothetically, if he would have gone sixth. So whoever hacked him cost him $8 million. Now he's saying he was hacked. I believe it. There are some people out there that don't. There's no reason why he would put this stuff on his own account when his livelihood was at stake. So
crazy ass girlfriend,
right?
And then he's going to lose a few black fans with that Confederate flag in the background. What is that about?
There's no way he
He's
posted
losing
that. He's
a lot of fans with that, not just black fans.
Yeah.
There's no room for that. Yeah.
Speaking of steamy posts on social media, let's just jump to Usher really fast. The R&B singer posted a series of Snapchat stories onto his page or his story, and it was him in his sauna at his house. And at first it's him, just neck up. It's him in this sauna. He's like, oh, it's getting steamy in here, blah, blah, blah. And then he posts a nude selfie, like all of Usher was out. And I was like, should I be turned on by this? I'm kind of creeped out, but I can't look away.
It wasn't a good picture.
It wasn't a good
I'm
angle.
just gonna be honest, like he's a good-looking
Usher's
guy.
is like in his 50s now, right?
No! But it was not a good angle at all. It just.
I like that headline said, the tip of the iceberg. You get it?
The tip of the iceberg, I guess, if you ask me. But it was not flattering. He should have gone with a different photo. If he was going to go that way.
So he only hurt himself, not helping with the ladies.
I think, to be fair, yeah. Next, we're going to talk about Beyonce and her Lemonade video release, which is basically a visual album, as she called it. It was released on HBO last week, and the whole thing kind of goes through the process of a woman that was cheated on. She goes through the healing process, the anger process, all of that. But there's one line in there about Becky with the good hair. And so this line makes everyone think, okay, so Jay-Z cheated. Who's Becky? Who's this, quote, Becky girl that she's named? So they're wondering if it's Rachel Roy, who is a fashion designer, because there have been rumors about him in the past. And a lot of people think that's why Solange attacked Jay-Z in the elevator last year.
Over that.
Was over that. But all of the Beehive fans have been tweeting at Rachel Ray, the chef.
Rachel Ray.
So Rachel Ray keeps getting all these
She's just an innocent bystander. Cooking away.
They're like, I'm never eating your fajitas again, you homewrecker. And I'm like, this poor girl.
She's never making lemonade again.
You're a horrible cook.
I've bought Rachel Roy's clothing. So am I supporting a homewrecker by wearing her clothes? I'm not going to worry too much about it.
Rachel Roy has come out and said it was definitely not me.
Well,
so
what is she going to say? It was me, guys. Hey, guys, it was me.
Now, Becky from Full House may be a different story,
Right.
with the good hair, for sure. Yeah,
That's true. I don't know. We don't know who it's about. We don't know if it's just a story, but it all seems
I have
like
yet to see the video or the
It's
video
long.
album.
It's long.
Like
It's a
an
whole
hour
hour. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have that kind of
big
time.
investment.
Maybe one video at a time, but
Okay.
not the whole video
Yeah.
album.
The
If
hot
you find out
sauce.
who Becky with the good hair is, let us know.
Okay,
For sure.
all right, we'll
Yeah.
do. Lauren, Kelly, DK from Mix 96.5. Thank you guys for coming on the Isiah Factor Uncensored. And want to thank all of you for joining us. And we will keep you updated on the weather throughout the morning with Sally McDonald and the gang beginning at 5 a.m. And shout out to my family in Baton Rouge you're watching on the internet. I think they're getting drunk. Good night.
This newscast brought to you by Carpet Giant.